Strong is the new skinny, and I think we need to talk about it. Bessie, if you are a millennial girl like me, then you may well have grown up watching the likes of Lizzie McGuire, Cinderella stories, and thinking that Hilary Duff was just bloody awesome. I mean, she was, and I think she totally still is. She's definitely having her comeback era, and I'm all for it. This episode is about that whole stronger, not smaller conversation that seems to be blowing up everywhere right now. And it's being fronted by our girl, Hilary. I want to chat about it. And I want to chat about why, from my perspective, as an eating disorder and body image therapist, why I actually think it's not quite hitting in some ways, and what it actually looks like to build a relationship with exercise and movement that doesn't secretly still hate on your body. If you've ever kind of swapped one body goal for another one and then wondered why you still feel like crap about yourself, then that's why I want to talk to you. The goal post is moving, right? But maybe the shame is going to stay. And I think no one's really been touching on that yet. So today I'm going to talk about why I think even well-meaning campaigns like Hilary's Stronger, Not Smaller one sometimes still reinforces that old story. And we can talk about what body diversity actually has to do with that too, and how you can want to feel strong without turning strong into the new, smaller, or just another body goal to obsess over. Let's talk about it. Hey gals, welcome back to Binge Free Bestie, the podcast where we ditch diets, break free from binge and emotional eating, and finally make peace with food and our bodies. I'm your host, Nick Garbedia. I'm a registered therapist who's been there herself. Binge eating, body shame, the whole exhausting cycle. I know it inside out. But here's the good news. Food freedom is totally possible, and my food freedom method is how you will get there. Every week on the potty, I'm going to be sharing real evidence-based tools from my therapy practice and my own recovery to help you to break up with binge and emotional eating and build a calmer, more empowered relationship with food. So, if you're done with the diet cycle and you're ready to reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your life, then you're in the right place. Hey, welcome back to the potty. This is the podcast for women who are done diluting themselves with, well, diet culture's bullshit and are ready to go and be their whole vibrant self. So I'm Nick. I'm your host. I'm a registered counselor, and I am your bestie who's going to tell you the truth, even when the rest of the wellness world won't. So that's why I want to talk about this new campaign and slogan that's popping up, Stronger, Not Smaller. Okay, so Hilary Duff, she had this Times Square billboard, Stronger, Not Smaller. Pretty cool. I mean, I saw this and my first reaction was really warm, really excited. I was like, that's freaking awesome. This is so good. This is what we need, especially us millennial girls who have that whole, like Tate Moss era that like thin is in, nothing tastes as good as skinny. It's been rough for us. We're in a moment where skinnytok is everywhere. Peptides and GLP-1 drugs are being taken by people who don't medically need them just to shrink their bodies. And women are quietly swapping strength training back for endless walking and Pilates because they're scared of getting bulky. So there's still this kind of cultural obsession with thinness that's never really left us. It's just got new wording, right? So in comes Hilary Duff. This is someone who grew up in the absolute epicenter of that obsession, right there with the rest of us. And now she has this big billboard in Times Square and it says, I don't want to just focus on being smaller anymore. I want to be strong. And I think that's really, really hit for so many of us. And yeah, I was impressed. I was really cool with it. But then I sat with it a little longer. And I want to talk about the fuller picture that I've been thinking on because I think we really deserve that, right? But first, let's go back to the 2000s just for a second. And again, like if you're a millennial woman, then you already know because you have lived through this. Think about those magazines that we were used to. They were running headlines like Star Wars, right? Plastering photos of Hollywood stars who were like really visibly fading away. Young actresses like Hilary Duff, Lindsay Lohan, Nicole Richie, women who were already thin by any measure were really scrutinized and shamed for their bodies constantly. And do you remember about Kate Winslet, right? She was labeled as chubby. Or America Ferrera. She recently spoke about her experiences, and she said that she had a very average sized body, right? And yet the industry treated it like something revolutionary. She said that there was just so many women who were called brave for showing themselves just because they were people in bodies. And I love that quote. So that's the bar that we were working with back then, right? And that was just the 90s, the 2000s, diet advice, telling girls that when they felt hungry, they were actually just thirsty, or slim fast ads everywhere, like our moms or our grandmothers normalizing hunger and praising the skinniest versions of us, giving us compliments based on our appearance, based on maybe when we shifted a little bit of weight. That was the water we were swimming in. And a lot of us are actually still damp, and some of us are still drowning in that water. And so Hilary Duff, she was part of that era, right? She wasn't just a bystander. And she has also spoken about struggling with body image from the time when she was a teen. She was under that spotlight. The spotlight was cruel. It was relentless. I did my research. She said that she had a horrifying eating disorder at 17. And she's been really open and vulnerable about that. So she's lived it. That's real. So when she comes and says stronger, not smaller, she's really speaking from somewhere genuine. She's really been through the trenches just like that. And I'm absolutely not questioning that. Well, here is what I am questioning. So I think other people online made this point too, and I have to agree, that if this exact message had come from someone in a larger body, I just don't think that it would have been landing the same way. There has been a lot of discussion that I've been reading and agree with that Hilary Duff does benefit from thin privilege, right? And that's part of why the campaign has been so widely celebrated. Not criticizing Hilary. No way, not at all. It's just a structural observation about whose bodies we allow to be the face of change. I mean, strong. What does a strong body look like, right? Could look like a lot of things. Could look like a 60-year-old woman hiking a mountain. Could look like a postpartum body doing 10 minutes of yoga on the lounge floor. Could look like a bigger body deadlifting twice its weight, or a chronically ill body getting out of bed. So when every campaign that says things like stop trying to be smaller still centers on a thin body as an aspirational image, I think maybe the subtext hasn't really totally shifted, but I feel like the message is still saying you can stop trying to shrink, but the image, when it's paired with someone who looks like Hilary Duff, is saying, but you still probably look like her, right? I think that gap matters, and I think we can just chat about it and we can name it. I'm not trying to cancel her, but let's be real. Hey, quick pause here, besties. If you've been listening along to the show and finding yourself thinking, wow, she is really describing me, and you feel like my approach and my vibe is really resonating with you, then maybe we are a great fit to be working together. I would love to invite you to check out my signature program, The Breakup. It's an online recovery program and a community where I'm going to guide you step by step through my food freedom method. Inside, we're going to focus on 3 big shifts. The first is learning how to re-nourish your body and your mind. Then we'll be regulating your nervous system and recognizing those emotions. And then we're going to be rewiring the patterns that are keeping you stuck with food. So I've helped hundreds of women step into binge-free lives and find body peace, myself included, and you can absolutely be the next person. So if you want to join the breakup, you can do so at any time, but if you also want to have a higher touch experience, you can choose to work alongside me one by one as you go through the program. That's called the Breakup Inner Circle. All the details are in the show notes, so you're welcome to come and chat with me in my DMs. You can schedule a clarity call with me if you're wondering whether this is the next step for you. So just send me that message. You can say done, and I'll know that you want to chat more or schedule in that call. All right, bestie. So let's get back into the episode. Let's talk about what stronger, not smaller, can mean for you. So if you've seen it, and if you haven't, just give it a quick Google, it will pop up. If it sparks something in you, if you thought, well, actually, I do want to feel strong. I do want to lift. I do want to move my body. I do want to feel capable. Then absolutely, that is worth pursuing. That's worth following. And I just want to make sure that we don't accidentally recreate that same dynamic with movement and exercise with just a new label on it. So this is what I see happening, or what I can see might happen, right? Is someone decides to chase strength because of smallness. They're inspired by this campaign. Awesome well-being goals. But then they start tracking and they start getting obsessed with personal records. And then there's that whole I failed the program mindset that might come in, spiral that might follow when life gets in the way and you skip a day at the gym. Maybe you start punishing yourself for missing that session. Maybe the gym becomes the new thing that you hate yourself for when you don't do it quite right. So that just means that we changed the goal from chasing small towards strong, but we didn't actually change the relationship with movement or our body, right? So research consistently shows that when exercise is framed around well-being rather than appearance or outcomes, people have sustainable and genuinely positive relationships with movement. So that's what we're going for. And that's what I want for you gals. So just sit with that for a minute and be like, if I wanted to go for this strong, I want to call in more strength, I just need to do it mindfully. And so how do we do that? We do it through joyful movement. So joyful movement isn't about being happy all the time when you exercise. You don't have to be happy the whole time. You can absolutely hate burpees. I do. They're objectively awful. But if you enjoy them or you just want to do them, then do it because you choose to, not because you feel obligated or that you feel a pressure that you won't meet your well-being or health goals if you don't do burpees. Joyful movement means that you're moving from a place of care, right? Not punishment. And the question you should be asking yourself isn't how much can I burn? It's what does my body feel like it needs today? Okay, so not how can I make up for that milkshake I had yesterday or that piece of cake? It's what does my body need to feel good? What's going to nourish me? So some days you're going to go and do a gym session, and some days you're going to take a walk. Some days it's putting on just a fun playlist in your kitchen and dancing around. All of that counts. And none of it is better or worse. You're still moving your body. You're still enhancing your health and well-being. That all or nothing trap can get people here too, right? That if I can't do the full 60-minute program, then I feel like I've achieved nothing. So don't let that kind of logic keep you stuck. I mean, that keeps us stuck with food, right? Like I must eat good or clean all the time or I've fucked it up. We can do the same thing with movement. Just remember that sometimes 10 minutes is enough. Starting is good enough. And you can increase that movement from there anyway. Let's just start moving. And if you want to lift weights like Hilary, then I think that's freaking awesome. I personally love lifting. I used to do it years ago, and I actually just signed up for a beginners ladies lifting program again this morning because I just remembered, hey, I loved moving like that, and I wanted to do it again. I wanted to start something fun, something a bit more novel to move my body over the winter. So I'll let you know how it goes. Now, Hilary Duff's campaign, if it made you want to pick up the barbell, do it. Strength training is awesome. It's so good for you. And I mean, the research for women and strength training is really solid, right? Increases our bone density, helps with mental health, energy, longevity. So definitely go for it. It is such an awesome thing to add into your health and well-being plan. So why do you want to move? Ask yourself that question. And if the answer is because you want to feel capable and you want to take up space in your own life, then I think that is a really beautiful reason. And if the answer is because you hate how your body looks and you want to change it, and this feels like a more acceptable reason than just wanting to be smaller, then that's worth sitting with, right? Because if you've just changed from small to strong, but there's still self-rejection underneath it, then there's that risk there, right? There's that risk of falling into that all or nothing mindset, of beating yourself up if you skip a day at the gym or life gets in the way. So just be aware, if you are going for those strong goals, what is underpinning it? You can absolutely want to be stronger. You can work on it. You can be proud of what your body does. And you can do all of that without it becoming another way to beat yourself up. Okay, and now to finish up today's episode, I want to share a client story. So I had a woman I was supporting, and we'll call her Jade. And Jade had been going to the gym for about 2 years, right? She'd been going consistently. She was tracking everything. She was doing everything right. And she came to me, though, because she still felt like she hated herself every time that she looked in the mirror. And she said to me in a session that she thought that if she just got strong enough and hit those kind of goals with strength, then she would feel okay. And we really spent some time unpacking that. And what was underneath it, when we peeled back all those layers, was that she had taken the original wound, which was the belief that her body wasn't good enough as it was, and she built a strength program on top of it. And the gym was just actually a bit of an extension of the punishment. It looked different and had better PR, right, than dieting. But it was still coming from that same place of restriction and self-control and self-punishment. And when Jay started asking things like, okay, but what would feel good for my body today, instead of what do I have to do today, it really changed everything. So she still goes to the gym, but she also skips it sometimes if she needs to, and it doesn't make her spiral. And that's freedom, right? And that's also body compassion in action. Well, that's all for this week's besties. I want to chat with you about it. So if it's landed for you, send me a DM on Insta, comment on the reels that I'll share of this episode. If it really vibed with you, and be sure to share it with another bestie who you feel like might need this one. And if you want to go deeper on your relationship with your body and movement, then you know I'm your gal. Just reach out if you want some support. All the details are in the show notes. So find me if you need me. That's all we're going to chat about today. I'll catch you again next week. And just remember, I think you're doing a heck of a lot better than you probably think you are. So send yourself some love. Ciao. All right, besties, that's a wrap for today. If you want to go deeper, check out the links in my show notes. You're going to find free resources, ways we can work together, and more details on my signature program, The Breakup. This is your roadmap to help you to break free from binge and emotional eating for good. If this episode has helped you, please hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you're feeling extra kind, leaving a quick review really helps this podcast to reach more women who need it. Take care of your beautiful self, bestie, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao.